All right, another coffee break. It is the beginning of 2024. Can't believe it. And we are talking about matches to the 401k. What is a match? Should you go up to the match? Should you go over the match? This is a question we get all the time from clients, and we might as well go through it with you, right? So you know how to evaluate that question. So, what is coffee break? What are we doing here? So, coffee break is made for 401k participants. So, if you are eligible for anything through your company that you work for, 401k, 403b, all those kind of things, basically, you're kind of who we're targeting this for. It's really just to kind of get you a sneak peek of some different things you should be thinking about for your financial future. Short and sweet, 15 minutes. I don't know if I've ever gone over 15 minutes or come close to it, but hopefully today is not the day, right? And basically, we're just going to cover highlights. So if you wanted to get a more in-depth discussion of what you should be doing for your situation, there will be a QR code at the end for you to be able to schedule a very short 15-minute call with us to see if we can help you in any way, get you some more personalized information for your situation. And if you can't make it to the end of the video, you can always go to our website, which is onevisionretire.com, and there is a way to sign up right at the top of the website page for you. Okay, so who is One Vision Retirement? Now, we obviously have a wonderful group of people behind us helping us look good, basically, and make sure we have the resources for you. But when you do your planning, there will be two people that will be interfacing with you, either myself or Chris Raylan, who is my business partner in this. So I've been doing this for 13 years. Chris has been doing it for about 23 years. I focus more on the personal planning, helping a lot of women who are child free is kind of a focus of mine, who are trying to get to financial independence or financial freedom as soon as possible. Retiring early might be another ways of putting it, but I do personal planning in general. And Chris works with business owners. So he tends to know the ins and outs of how all these plans work, why they work the way they do, and all that stuff. So he's a great resource to have if you are a participant. Now, if you're a business owner and need help with this, he's your guy, and he can help you with lots of different ideas. Okay, so let's jump right into it. What is a match, right? We talk about this, we assume that everybody knows, but sometimes you don't ask the question because you feel like you're stupid when you ask the question, but you should have an answer of what a match is, okay? So, a match, according to Fidelity, is a 401k match, or really a match to any employer plan, is when your employer contributes money to your account to reflect the contributions you've made out of your compensation, like a salary or bonus. And, like I said, the 403b can work the same way. So can other retirement plans. So what that means is the company will match up to a percentage of what you put in. So you have to put some money into your 401k and invest it as well, but they will match up to it. So let's say you put in 2% of your compensation into the 401k. The company, if they're going up to a 2% match, will match that. So really 4% of your compensation is going in, but you only had to contribute 2%. Not a bad deal, right? Okay, so basically, what does going up to the match mean? So going up to the match means going up to the percentage that your employer is basically willing to put in there. So let's say your company is matching up to 4%. That means you need to put 4% in to go up to the match. You could put in 3, you could put in 2, but people will say you're leaving money on the table if you do that, which technically you are. But it all depends on your planning, right? I'm not a have to go up to the match kind of person because everybody's situation is different. But there's sometimes that you have to put in a little bit more than what they're putting in. So some of the plans are set up so that maybe the first 2% you get, you get 100% on, and then you have to contribute 2% to get a 3% match. So they'll do 100% on the first 2% that you put in, and then 50% on the third percent and 50% on the fourth percent, so that you have to put in 4 to get a 3% match. It's very complicated, I know. But at the same time, you want to know what those numbers are, because if you put in 3%, then you're only getting 2.5%. of your match. And so you're not technically going up to the match in that case. So every 401k is different. I would highly recommend you reaching out to HR if you're not sure how it works. And if you don't know and you call us, we are going to ask you to reach out to HR to get that information anyhow. So you might as well get it. All right. The third on our coffee break is what is the max I can put in. Now this changes every year. This is a video in 2024. So right now you can put up to 23,000 into your 401k for 2024. If you are over the age of 50, sorry, not 70, 50, you can put in another 7,500 to go up to, your full amount that you can put in. So basically that would add up to 30,500 if you're over the age of 50. That's called a catch up. Okay. So obviously your percentage of your compensation should be a lot less than that number, but it might be equal to that number. So you want to do that percentage and see what that looks like in terms of contribution that you're putting in. Now, these are just employee contributions to the 23,000 and the 30,500 are what you can put in. This does not include what your employer is putting in. So you don't have to feel held back by what they're putting in for you. All right. So should I put in up to the match or more? Right? This is the question we get a lot of the time. Should I put more in than the match? Should I only go up to the match? What should I do? I'm going to give the traditional financial planner answer, which is depends. I know you hate hearing that, but it really just depends, right? Because it depends on what your ultimate goal is. If you are trying to save a lot on taxes, and we go through how that all works when you retire, and that's the way you want to go, you might want to go over the match. You might want to go up to the maximums, right? Because, it depends on what kind of a 401k you're putting it into as well. If you're putting it into a Roth versus a traditional, there's a lot of things that kind of go into play with this. The other thing you want to consider is your ultimate goals, right? If you're trying to retire early, you might decide to not go over the match, to put extra money someplace else, maybe just a joint brokerage account with you and your spouse, or an individual if you're single. So essentially, you would want to think about what your ultimate goal is to answer that question. And if you're not quite sure how to go through that process, just like I said, set up a little call for us and we can walk you through how to do that and how to go through that process. All right, so an answer that didn't answer anything. Sorry about that, but that's the honest truth. Okay, so where else should I put my money? Now, we just kind of went through this, but you can also put it into, if you are putting it into the traditional 401k, even the Roth, if you wanted to, and you're eligible for a Roth, you can put it into a Roth IRA. You could put it into a traditional IRA as well. I don't tend to recommend that very much, though, because if you are eligible for a 401k, even if you're not putting your money in, even if you're eligible for a 401k, the contribution to a traditional IRA is not tax deductible. And it can cause some headaches of trying to figure out how tax is going to be later on. So essentially, I would usually say if you're eligible for a 401k, and you want some tax deduction, probably use the 401k in that case, and maybe use the Roth IRA if you're eligible for that, based off of compensation as the other alternative. You can also just open up what's called a individual brokerage account or a joint brokerage account if it's between you and a spouse. And basically what that means is it's just an open-ended account. There's no retirement account on it. It's not a 59 and a half rule thing, all that stuff. The Roth has a 59 and a half rule on it. A lot of people don't realize that, but they do. And so you want to make sure that you have an understanding of where you're putting your money in the liquidity and how you're going to access it. Based off of your goals. And so where you put your money otherwise can be, a really interesting, discussion in a big part of your strategy when it comes to figuring out your overall financial plan, basically. So I would say, to think about where you're putting your money otherwise can be a little overwhelming. Probably would be good to have a discussion with somebody who knows your financial situation and can give you some guidance on that. So, in conclusion of everything, now we know what the match is. How does that work? And you need to kind of figure out for your own company how that works, what the match is. Oftentimes clients will say, well, I think it's this. And I ask them to go back to HR and it's actually different. So you don't want to just go off memory. You actually want to get it in writing from HR what it is. Think about your goals, right? Think about your goals and what you're trying to accomplish play a huge part on whether or not you go up over the match, if you contribute to your 401k at all those things come into play. So you just want to make sure that you take a look at that and look at all your options before deciding. If you're not quite sure what to do, maybe you go up to the match for now and you just look at other options and then you decide to increase it, in a couple of months once you figure that out. It is an overwhelming process, but you do want to have a good objective and good idea of where you're putting your money in, because the one thing you can control is how much you save. You cannot control the markets. You cannot control other things. Your employer might say, we're not going to do the match anymore. And you can't control that. But you can control how much you save and where you put it. And understanding that is really the key to figuring out, your overall financial plan and how to get you to your ultimate goals, which is, for most people, financial independence, right? Either that means retirement or making a change in your life so that you can do more fun things and maybe don't do this corporate job anymore. Don't tell your boss I said that, though. Okay. So if you are interested in setting up a time to chat with us, here is the QR code to do that. Again, you can also go to our website, which you can see there, or email us at info@onevisionretire.com. That goes to both Chris and I, so we will both be able to see it. And I tend to do a lot of videos and different things on LinkedIn. So if you are interested in just getting more nuggets, you can do that. Or we have a YouTube channel as well at onevisionretirement.com. So that's it. Hopefully you got some information that is good for you. You understand how the match works, and you can kind of figure out how to go around if you want to do, something other than just going up to the match. You've got some other options that you can think about. Again, don't hesitate to set up a call with us. We are here to help you figure out what's best for you. So I'm going to end this video like we usually do on our other videos, which is One Vision Retirement is here for you so that you have a 2020 vision on your retirement.